For centuries, ships traveling between the Atlantic and Pacific had to brave the long, perilous route around Cape Horn. This journey was not just a test of endurance for sailors, but a gamble with fate itself. The waters were treacherous, the winds unpredictable, and the storms legendary. Many ships never made it home, lost to the unforgiving seas at the bottom of the world. This journey added months, cost, and danger to every voyage. The toll on human life and cargo was immense, and the financial risks were staggering. Every trip around the Horn was a story of survival, and not all had a happy ending. The world longed for a shortcut, a canal through the narrow isthmus of Panama. The idea of slicing through the continent, of connecting two mighty oceans, captured imaginations everywhere. It was a vision that promised to reshape the map of global trade. The idea was ancient, but technology and willpower were lacking. For centuries, dreamers and schemers drew up plans and wrote proposals, but the tools to make it real simply didn't exist, yet. The California gold rush in the 1840s made the need urgent. Suddenly, thousands of people were desperate to reach the West Coast, chasing fortune and a new life. The world's attention turned to Panama as never before. Thousands sought a faster way to the West Coast, but the overland trek was slow and risky. Travelers faced disease, bandits, and the harsh realities of the jungle and mountains. The dream of a shortcut became a matter of survival and prosperity. In 1855, the Panama Railroad was built, slashing travel time, but still requiring ships to unload and reload cargo. It was a marvel of its age, but only a partial solution. Goods and people still had to cross the isthmus by land. The ultimate dream was a canal, a continuous waterway connecting the oceans. Such a feat would revolutionize shipping, making the world smaller and more connected than ever before. This was about more than speed, it was about power and global influence. Whoever could master this passage would shape the destiny of nations and control the flow of commerce across the globe. Whoever controlled the canal would control world trade. The stakes were nothing less than the balance of power among empires. The stage was set for an engineering challenge unlike any before. World's best minds and bravest workers would be tested by the wild, untamed land of Panama. The world watched, waiting to see who would dare to carve a path through Panama's jungle and mountains. Every headline, every rumor, was followed with breathless anticipation. The dream was alive, but the obstacles were immense. Nature itself seemed determined to keep the oceans apart, throwing up walls of rock, mud, and disease. The canal would demand vision, courage, and the ability to conquer nature itself. It would take innovation, sacrifice, and relentless determination to succeed. The world was ready for a new era of connection. The promise of prosperity, unity, and progress hung in the air, waiting for someone bold enough to seize it. The question was, who would make it happen? Who would have the vision, the resources, and the resolve to turn this centuries-old dream into reality? The answer would change history, forever altering the course of nations and the fate of the world. France was the first to try, inspired by their triumph at Suez. The world watched with anticipation as the French, emboldened by their engineering prowess, set their sights on the narrow isthmus of Panama. At the helm was Ferdinand de Lesseps, the celebrated hero of the Suez Canal, whose reputation alone drew global attention and trust. De Lesseps promised a sea-level canal, a marvel to rival Suez, and raised vast fortunes from eager investors who believed in his vision. But Panama was no Egypt. Mountains, floods, and a suffocating jungle made the task brutal, far beyond anything the French had faced before. The French brought the latest machinery and thousands of workers, determined to conquer the land. But the land fought back with relentless force. Torrential rains turned work sites to mud, and the unpredictable Chagres River flooded everything in its path, halting progress again and again. Landslides, sudden and devastating, buried months of progress in mere minutes, crushing equipment and hope alike. The Culebra Cut, their main trench, became a symbol of struggle, a constant disaster zone where nature seemed determined to win. For every bucket of earth removed, another slid back in, as if the land itself refused to be tamed. Disease, malaria, and yellow fever ravaged the workforce, striking down men by the thousands, with little warning and no cure. The death toll soared, morale collapsed, and the dream began to fade as exhaustion and fear took hold. After years of struggle, enormous loss, and mounting debt, the French effort failed. leaving behind only unfinished ditches and broken spirits. The company went bankrupt, leaving rusting equipment and shattered dreams scattered across the jungle, silent witnesses to ambition undone. 22,000 lives were lost, engineers, laborers, and dreamers, each grave a testament to the canal's terrible cost. The world saw the canal as an impossible dream, a folly that had swallowed fortunes and hope. The jungle reclaimed the scars of failure, vines creeping over rusted steel, erasing the evidence of human ambition. But the vision of a canal would not die. The dream lingered, waiting for someone bold enough to try again. A new power was watching, ready to learn from the past and attempt the impossible once more. Ferdinand de Lesseps's optimism blinded him to Panama's realities. He visited only in the dry season, missing the devastation of the rains. He ignored engineers' warnings about the mountains and unstable soil. His sea-level plan was elegant in theory, disastrous in practice. Disease struck hard. Yellow fever and malaria decimated workers. The French misunderstood the cause, blaming bad air. Hospitals overflowed and the death toll mounted. After 8 years, the project collapsed in scandal and bankruptcy. 22,000 dead, millions lost, and only a scarred landscape remained. The French failure became a cautionary tale of hubris. The canal was abandoned, a symbol of tragedy. Yet the world still needed a path between the seas. The dream waited for a new champion. The next chapter would be written by America. The United States recognized the canal's immense strategic value. Controlling a passage between the Atlantic and Pacific would transform global trade and military power. The dream of a canal had captured American imaginations for decades, but now, it was within reach. President Theodore Roosevelt, bold and energetic, was determined to succeed where France had failed so spectacularly. He saw the canal as both a test of American resolve and a symbol of progress. At the time, Panama was a province of Colombia, and negotiations for canal rights dragged on endlessly, mired in politics and conflicting interests. Frustrated by the stalemate, Roosevelt grew impatient. He decided to support a movement for Panamanian independence, seeing it as the fastest route to his goal. With U.S. encouragement and backing, Panama declared its independence from Colombia in 1903, sparking celebrations in the streets of Panama City. An American warship anchored nearby, making it clear that Colombia could not intervene. The show of force ensured Panama's new status. The United States quickly recognized the new nation and signed a treaty granting America control of the Canal Zone, a strip of land across Panama. America now held the Canal Zone in perpetuity, planting its flag and establishing a powerful presence in the heart of Central America. For Roosevelt, it was a personal and political triumph. For Panama, it marked the birth of a new nation and the dawn of a new era. The Americans inherited a daunting legacy: rusting French equipment, unfinished excavations, and a landscape scarred by earlier failures. The world watched with fascination and skepticism as America prepared to tackle what many considered an impossible feat. The canal would soon become a symbol of American ambition, engineering prowess, and the nation's growing influence on the world stage. But before that dream could be realized, the Americans had to confront the same overwhelming problems that had doomed the French: unforgiving terrain, relentless rain, and technical challenges. Disease, chaos, and the wild, mosquito-infested landscape still stood in the way. Yellow fever and malaria threatened every worker's life. The stage was set for a new kind of battle, not just against earth and water, but against deadly disease and the forces of nature itself. The dream of a canal was alive again, burning brighter than ever, but the challenge ahead was greater than anyone had imagined. The world's eyes turned to Panama, watching anxiously. Would the Americans succeed where others had failed? The answer would not only change Panama, it would reshape the world and the course of history itself. The Americans learned from French mistakes. Chief Engineer John Stevens halted digging to focus on organization and health. The biggest breakthrough: abandoning the sea-level plan for a lock system. Locks would lift ships 85 feet above sea level, then lower them back down. The key was water, so they built the massive Gatun Dam, creating Gatun Lake. The lake became a central part of the canal, turning jungle into a navigable channel. The lock system used gravity-fed water from the lake, making it efficient. The dam also tamed the wild Chagres River. This design worked with Panama's landscape, not against it. The real construction could finally begin. The Americans were ready to move mountains. Before digging, the Americans had to defeat disease. Colonel William Gorgas led a massive campaign against mosquitoes, the carriers of yellow fever and malaria. Sanitation squads drained swamps, fumigated buildings, and covered water sources. At first, Washington doubted the cost, but a yellow fever outbreak changed minds. With full support, Gorgas's team eradicated yellow fever and slashed malaria rates. Hospitals emptied, and workers returned. The victory over disease was as crucial as any engineering feat. Thousands of lives were saved. The canal zone became safe for work. Medicine had conquered what machines could not. Now, the real digging could begin. The Culebra Cut was the canal's greatest challenge, a 9-mile trench through the Continental Divide. Powerful steam shovels and a vast railway system moved mountains of earth. Landslides remained a constant threat, undoing months of work in moments. Engineers redesigned slopes and widened the cut to fight the slides. A diverse workforce, mostly Caribbean laborers, toiled in dangerous conditions. Accidents were common, but improved sanitation saved many lives. Over 5,600 workers died during American construction, a tragic but lower toll. Their labor carved the path between the seas. The canal neared completion. The world's greatest shortcut was almost real. After a decade of effort, the canal was ready. The locks and dams stood firm. The Culebra Cut was open. In 1913, President Woodrow Wilson triggered the final explosion from the White House, letting water surge through the last barrier. The Atlantic and Pacific were finally connected. The first ship, the Alexandre Lavallee, made the inaugural transit. The official opening came in August 1914, as the SS Oncon sailed through. World War I overshadowed the celebration, but the achievement was undeniable. The canal was a marvel of engineering and organization. Built at great cost, it changed global trade forever. The world was now smaller, more connected. The dream was reality. Today, the Panama Canal remains vital to global trade. 14,000 ships cross each year, saving time and money. For Panama, the canal is a source of pride and prosperity. After decades of U.S. control, Panama took over in 1999. The canal is now managed by Panamanians and drives the nation's economy. In 2016, a massive expansion allowed even larger ships to pass. The canal continues to evolve, meeting the needs of modern shipping. Its story is one of ambition, sacrifice, and triumph. The path between the seas is a living legacy. The dream endures, shaping our world every day.